Dory. Today, I call this assignment Finding Dory Squad. If you've taken me before, you might have done this assignment. I do this as a typical assignment. It's kind of like my photo booth assignment to get you involved and get you started with Photoshop. This is how we're going to start a composite in Photoshop and learn how to do selections. So that's why we start with this one. So you're going to first take the information, and I like to take this document and put it over on the side so I have it. And then I'm going to get the tank. So to get my tank for the Finding Dory, I click on the tank itself, and I'm going to go to the three dots up here in the corner, say open a new window. This is just what Classroom makes us do, which is kind of annoying. And then you can download it. I know you probably are like, oh, I wish I could just download it, but you do have to get it into that new window. Now it's been downloaded to my computer. So I'm going to open that in Photoshop. There's several ways you can open in Photoshop. One is to just go to your Finder window and go to Downloads, and you can drag that into Photoshop if you want. That's the easiest way. Or you can go to Photoshop and press File, Open in Photoshop, or there's another open screen. If you go here and you're at this screen, you can press Open. Again, it's under Downloads, and we have the tank right there. This is the tank at Monterey Aquarium. So if you've ever been to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, that's the tank that I'm giving you. You know, you probably stood right here and looked at all the fishies. But we're going to put in some more fishies. We're going to find Dory. Okay, Dory doesn't have to be Dory herself. It could be any type of fish you want or any type of Dory squad. These are the people that hang out with Dory in the squad. So the next thing we're going to do is find a image off the internet. And there's some rules to that. Okay, so when you're looking in Google for images that you want to use in a composite, here in the education system, we can use copyrighted images. But if you are selling something, you cannot use copyrighted images. You need permission from the artist to use them. So you're going to go to images, and you definitely want to search out some images. What kind of friend of Dory do we want? What kind of fish or sea creature? Nemo. I got Nemo. Okay. So for my first one, I'm going to find a Nemo on a white background. That's going to be so much easier for me to cut out for this assignment. I'm letting you do it on the first part as a white background because I want you to see the difference finding something that has a white background and doesn't. The second thing we're going to need to do is find where it says over here, Tools. There, you're going to press on Tools, and you want to find Size. If I wanted this Dory this Nemo right now, it's really, that one's not bad on size, but let's say I find one that's small. Well, these are all big. So when you look at this number here is your pixel size. If you remember from pixel size when you're printing, what do we divide the pixels by? 300. So if we have 640 pixels by 480, how big can I blow up this picture? What's the biggest I should print it at? 640 by 480. So we divide the 640 by 300. The biggest that we want to print it at is 2 inches. 2 inches by 1 inch. Does that make sense? But what if we wanted to make a big poster of this? That's going to look bad. So you really should always start with the size and say you want a large size. Okay? So large size, that's fine. I did find it here as a large size on white background, and I can drag that. But guess what? It's not letting me drag it because it is a blocked image. This one is a Pixar Wiki fandom, and they have it so that you cannot take it. So some things that you want to use, a tool that you could use is usage rights, and we want a Creative Commons usage. That means that we could take it. So usage right is important. And I'm going to say white background. I'm putting in white background to make it easier for myself to find images. And you're going to see this one says free, but let's see if it'll let me steal it. It did let me steal it. So guess what? I got that one. But you notice I didn't go right here from this clip art. It'll give me a small image. You want to actually go on the image. You want to make sure that you're clicking on the image. I have to say that some of these are going to be small. This is a copyrighted image. Finding Nemo is going to be harder to get than you expect. So What if I wanted Finding Nemo real fish? Maybe that would be a way to get a better picture. Right? Okay. So then I might have some more choices because they can't actually copyright a clownfish, right? They can copyright the Disney version, but they can't copyright a real fish. Again, a lot of these free pics, free whatevers, the ones that have these eye stock on them will probably be blocked. And that's because they want you to pay for those images. So just scroll down a little farther and see if you find one that's not blocked. There we go. That's a better version of that Nemo, even though that's definitely a copyrighted. Again, we do get away with that because we're using it for educational purposes. But if you were to sell this, Disney would be after you in a heartbeat. So once you have your Finding Nemo, your fish, whatever fish you want to bring in, could be whatever kind of animal, we're going to use the magic eraser tool. This is the magic eraser tool. It's underneath the eraser tool. So you click on the eraser tool and then you move down the list to magic eraser tool. It has little stars next to it. And the magic eraser tool is great because I can click on this white. What just happened to my white? It went away, right? And that's because it's looking for like pixels. So that's why the white's the super easiest to cut out. Because it's all white, I can easily cut it out. Now I'm on the move tool, which is this top one up here. And I can move Nemo wherever I want. I can make him bigger by Command T. And change his size. I can rotate him. You can figure out whatever you want. You'll notice that it did get rid of some of his other white, and I'll show you other ways to fix that. But for right now, that's fine. We're just learning how to cut things out. So then, but if this was me, I would go back and fix this. But I'm not going to do that while I'm demoing this right now. So what's a second type of fish that you would want to use in your or sea creature or person that you want to put in the tank? Yes. Flounder. So this time we're going to look for fish that don't have a white background, okay? So I'm going to find flounder. Do we want an actual flounder or we want flounder from the movie? Okay, so then again, we're going to have to go to size. We're going to have to go to large and find something that we can use for flounder. Maybe this one. It looks kind of bad, but let's see if it goes. So I want you to actually put this one on your desktop because you're going to upload it to the document. So I'm going to put that one on the desktop, but then I'm going to go back. I gave you a document, okay? And on the document, it has a spot where you insert the artwork. So I'm going to replace my artwork here. Don't forget, you can do that by the 3 dots, replace artwork, upload from the computer. That one I put on my desktop just by dragging it to my desktop. It's right there. I open it. Now I've got flounder in there. Easy? Okay. So pretty easy. And now we're going to cut flounder out. So I'm going to put flounder on here. But maybe I'm going to paste flounder in. So file, place is another way to do that. Place him in. Find him. He'll be on desktop. Place. Okay. I can make him as big as I want, right? Except for, depends. It's a little of a blurry photo. But again, that's because these are all stolen from Disney. They are definitely stolen. Disney does not let anybody have rights to these things. So we have flounder. And now we're going to select him in a different way. We're going to use the tool called Select Object Selection Tool. So to do that tool, I go, and it's under here. It looks like a little dancing ants around a object with a little arrow. And then I'm going to select around flounder. And, oops, I'm on the wrong layer. So I'm going to go back to the layer. Select around flounder. Now it's made me some dancing ants. You can see it. It said, oh yeah, is that the object? Yes, that's the object. That's good. So now I'm going to go up to the top menu. There's a thing that says select and mask. I'm going to put it on select and mask. Love my select and mask tool. And then on my select and mask tool, it gives me this nice properties panel over here. The first thing I always do is make it so the black is fully at 100%. You can see what happened there is I can see areas in flounder that it didn't select because it's got some black in it. So that right away, I know I need to fix. And I can do that by hitting on this object select tool, and I can come in and fix any areas that might need fixing. You see how I just got his tail back, right? So I can see what's actually being selected. and what's not. That's a great tool to use. Then right here, I noticed, oh no, it got some of the background. I don't want that to be, so I'm gonna go to minus, and I switched tools. I went to my hair tool, but I can also use the object select tool, but I wanna be on the minus. I wanna get rid of this selection here, okay? So I'm getting rid of that selection there, but then there's some other things you might wanna think about doing. Right now, it looks kind of like a bad cutout line, like somebody didn't go to elementary school. So I'm gonna change some of my settings over here, like maybe a radius. Nope, that's too much. I'm gonna pull that one back. I'm just gonna play around with this until it looks good. Definitely smoothness will help with the cut. Do y'all see how it just kind of cleaned up that like smooth line? And feathering's a good one to use a little bit of, or maybe not. On something like this, maybe you don't need a lot of feathering. Contrast helps. Shift edge might help a little bit to get some of that edge that's still showing, but you're playing around with it until you like the way it looks. A definite one that I always check is decontaminate colors, because I want it to come in as a new layer with layer mask. If you don't decontaminate colors, it won't do that. So I always do that. And then the other one is to make sure it's checked at remember settings, which used to be at the bottom, but now it's at the top. Because then when I come back into this tool again on my computer, it'll save it, right? So that looks good. Now I have Flounder cut out. Now doesn't Flounder look better than Finding Nemo at this point, right? But I do have a little bit of an issue going on. I have a little bit of that blue still showing in his mane here. So I'm gonna take the mask tool right here, and I'm gonna use the paintbrush, and I'm gonna paint that out. And a good way to do that is to use the paintbrush tool. Be on a real paintbrush like general hard or soft, either one works. I think soft is actually a little better for this. And then I'm gonna come in, and what's great about being on this mask, this is called a mask over here. What's great is I could use it to erase, but I've erased my flounder, right? So I'm gonna flip that and go to white, and anywhere that I paint white brings back any pixels that I did. What happens if I had an eraser tool and I was doing this? You can't bring it back. So it's really great with the masking tool is that you can bring it back. So you can sit here and kind of like clean it up or paint it back in. But that way I can kind of just paint it up, and I'm using an eraser tool without using an eraser tool, which is so great because then you can maybe mess up. Like I might go, oops, wrong. I'm gonna go back and fix that up, right? Okay, so now I have Flounder, and both Flounder and Nemo are on here, but I want them talking to each other. So I'm gonna flip Flounder, and that's just easy, transform, and I'm gonna say flip horizontal, but there's all kind of things you can do on scale. You could do Command T and change the scale, right? Maybe he's in front of Nemo. Hi, Nemo. There you go. And then you go, perfect. He's like jumping out of the water or something. Okay, so then we're gonna go to save export as a quick PNG, and we're gonna save this and put it on our classroom document. You can call it Finding Nemo or whatever. For this one, I didn't tell you how to call it something important. And then you're gonna save it and put it on your thing. If you wanna learn how to change the color so that it's more blue and it feels like it's in there, I can always help you with that. But you don't have to for this. Mainly, we're just learning how to cut out something and put it in a Photoshop file. Questions? Okay, guys, get to work. I'm going to put up this video I made too if you want to look back at it for any reason.